Hello ladies and gentlemen and video game lovers of all kind, and welcome to another Let's Discuss video. As always, I am your host, Brett Murphy, and for today's topic, we are going to be looking at the best video game franchises to binge while quarantined. If you have been keeping up to date on my channel, you will have noticed that I recently uploaded the best film franchises to binge while quarantined. And as some of you may know, I'm just about as big of a gamer as I am a movie lover. So if you want to engage yourself a bit more and be a bit more hands-on, why not toss a controller in your hands and start playing some video games? Again, I will reiterate, I don't want to stick to the negativity too much when talking about everything that's going on outside of my four walls, as well as yours. The world is seeing some very dark times, and that is why I'm doing these recommend videos, to try and get you and I through this as quickly and painlessly as possible. Because quarantine doesn't necessarily have to be a terrible, miserable thing. We're stuck in here regardless, and we're all stuck together, so we might as well make the most of it. So once again, this isn't going to be a ranking or a top 10 video, I'm just going to be rallying off all of my picks. So in no particular order, I may as well start off with my favorite video game and its franchise of all time, and that is the Bioshock franchise. Now I know there's only 3 main games, the first one being my favorite game of all time, but if you include the DLC, you'll definitely get your money's worth. Bioshock is a first-person shooter, kind of a mix with an RPG, very easy to learn, very easy to pick up, and some of the best stories in gaming history, some of the best stories in general across any medium. The world and the design are immaculate, and the creativity on Showcase is unparalleled. After that, even though this franchise has definitely seen some bumps in the road, I would recommend the Assassin's Creed franchise. There has been plenty upon plenty of games in this franchise so far, not all of them hits, actually quite a few of them have been misses. But regardless, whether you just play the hits or play them all through, there is plenty of story there to keep you going for quite some time. Next, and I might get some heat for this one, but I actually do recommend the Call of Duty franchise. Why do I recommend the COD franchise? I mean, because why not? Not only do you have the story mode in every single one of the games except for Black Ops 4, which typically range between 5 and 6 hours. If you play the majority of them, you're going to be taking up like 50 to 60 hours just playing the campaigns alone. The majority of the games also include a third mode, being either zombies, extinction, survival, other things like that. And then you have the multiplayer. If you play any of the games from this current generation, being from Ghosts until Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019, most of those online lobbies are still pretty populated today. But even some of the older ones, thanks to backwards compatibility on the Xbox One, you can still hop and do Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, and if you manage to get into a lobby that's not completely hacked, you can still have a pretty fun time. And if you currently own the most recent Modern Warfare, being Modern Warfare 2019, I guess is the only way you can refer to it, that game is the most recent game and it is booming. It just released its new Battle Royale, being Call of Duty Warzone, which is free to play, I might add. A very active, engaging, if not a bit different multiplayer, and an excellent story mode. Next, we may as well hop on to anything by Naughty Dog. Now, I was going to originally say the Uncharted games because you can buy the Nathan Drake collection, and 4 you can buy solo, but honestly, you may as well play The Last of Us. Sure, it may be a bit morbid considering everything that's going on, but one of the best games ever created. The second one is only about 2 months away, and the Jack and Daxter collection is actually currently on the PlayStation Store as well. Some of the best adventure stories that you will play across any medium out there, and they really show how different their games can be. Next, I would suggest anything from Software. So that is any of your Dark Souls games, Bloodborne, or Sekiro. These games aren't always the longest, or are they the most fun. But what will keep you engaged and keep you playing for a very long time is the steep, massive learning curve that you have to get over in order to actually get good at these games. You will spend hours upon hours upon hours just trying to beat your first boss. And sure, it'll be frustrating, but I mean, what are you gonna do, right? Like, there's nothing else to do, so you may as well take the time now, either if you tried and failed before, or if you never really got into them, to hop in now, put in those hours, get good at the game, and finally beat them. Next is easily the best superhero video game franchise, and that is the Batman Arkham games. Now you can stick to just the Rocksteady games, being Batman Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Knight, but I do also highly recommend Arkham Origins if you can get your hands on it. Not made by Rocksteady, but it is still in the same continuity, and it is highly, highly underrated. After that, I could recommend anything by Bethesda really, and I guess I could kind of say that. The main ones would be the Elder Scrolls games and Fallout, because those are their big, massive open world games with so much to do, and I mean so much to do. You can really hop into these worlds and live in them for hours upon hours, for days, weeks, months, some people even years, okay? Skyrim came out in 2011, almost a full decade ago, and this game is still bumping. People play it and are still discovering new things. Or you can even play some of its smaller franchises like Doom, or Doom 2016, with Doom Eternal just recently releasing. You can play Wolfenstein, which has Wolfenstein The New Order, as well as its spin-off, Wolfenstein The Old Blood, Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, or the other spin-off one was like the new something, The New Blood. Oh, I don't know what it's called, honestly. I didn't even play it. I heard it was horrible, but you know what? If you want to try it, go for it. It's there for you. It also has The Evil Within and The Evil Within 2 if you're looking for a few more scares, as well as I'm sure there are plenty of other Bethesda franchises that I'm missing. This one's going to be a bit different, but sports franchises, you know, hop into NHL, NBA, FIFA, Madden. Why not, right? If you say, for instance, if you hop into a season on the most recent MLB game, you're playing 162 games. Hop into an NHL season, you're playing 82 games, right? There is so many things to do. You can play various modes. There's online modes. Some of them even have story modes. So you can hop into any or every sports franchise, there's no sports on TV, and this is how you get your fill. After that, I would follow up by saying anything by Rockstar. Originally, I was just going to say GTA or Grand Theft Auto, but Red Dead Redemption 2 is arguably one of the biggest games ever made. You can basically just live in the Old West. That is what Red Dead Redemption 2 is. If you're just playing the story campaign, it's like 60 hours long, and then there's also a massive online component. With so many little things to do aside from the story, so many side quests, you can just go fishing if you want to. And then you also have GTA Online, which is still being updated very regularly and has a ginormous following. If you're an Xbox player and you want to get into some exclusives, the Halo franchise has plenty on offer. I think it has 5 games if you include the Halo War games, that bumps it up to 7. Story campaign, multiplayer, sometimes there's other modes. And then you also have the Gears of War franchise, which its main story has 5 games, and there's also a spin-off game in there as well. Moving past that, I would recommend anything by Telltale. So as we all know, Telltale was recently shut down. It broke my damn heart, but their top tier storytelling games are still available just about anywhere. You have The Walking Dead season 1, 2, 3, and the final season. You have 2 seasons of Batman. There's Back to the Future. There's Jurassic Park, The Wolf Among Us. So many games in there, and they play out like a television series. You have a season, and then there's usually about 5 or 6 episodes, sometimes a little bit less, but not very often, per season. And most of them range between an hour and a half to 2 hours to play. And you choose your own adventure, so really you're making it your own. Once you finish the games, you can go back and play them all again in a different way and get a different ending and see different characters carried up with you throughout their entire stories. Now I'll say Nintendo first-party games. I was originally going to say just Mario games, but I know that the Legend of Zelda franchise also has one of the largest followings in gaming. So anything like that, play Mario Party, Mario Kart, Super Mario Maker 2, Super Mario Odyssey, or any of the various Legend of Zelda games, even the older ones if you can manage to get your hands on them, for either fun by yourself, fun with a friend, or fun with the whole family. Now the last 2 I would recommend is 1, the Far Cry franchise if you're looking for some action, mayhem, and chaos. Basically just a big, explosive, open world sandbox. There are stories in there that you can follow that will lead to hours and hours of play, but also just little random nonsense activities, mini games, as well as side quests. The main franchise has 5 games with a couple of spin-offs as well as large DLCs. And lastly is the God of War franchise. You could just play the most recent God of War, which is kind of like a soft reboot, like the rest of the stuff still happened, but it's a new story going forward, and it is one of the best games I have ever played. God of War 3 has also been remastered on the PS4. The rest of them, though, you will either have to have your PS2, PS3, or you can get PlayStation Now, and you can play them that way if you can afford to get it. So folks, that is my list for today. Let me know what you thought about my list, and let me know if there are any games that you think that I was missing that should have been on here. Once again, just like with my movie franchises video, I implore you all to come together in these dark times. Don't belittle one another, don't put each other down, don't comment negative things or come at people on Twitter. We don't need any more toxic and negative behavior when the world is in the state that it's in. We as a video game community should be coming together, should be lifting each other up, should be conversating, recommending to one another, and just chatting all together about our all-time favorite games or moments. So I implore you, be nice to one another, stay safe out there, be humble, wash your hands, and do not go outside unless absolutely necessary. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that thumbs up button, and if you want to see more content, click subscribe as well as ding that little bell icon, that way you can be notified about all of my latest uploads. And also feel free to reach out on me on any of my platforms. Drop a comment if you want to talk and discuss anything, or you can hit me up on any single one of my social medias and I will be sure to reply to you. I know that most of us are scared, I am too, and that's why I say we must come together in these times. As always, stay safe, thank you so much for watching, and that's a wrap. Hey you, yeah you, if you made it this far, just know I appreciate you, and while you're here, consider hitting that subscribe button.